Okay. Do you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go, Pierre. You can go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's good. So I am in a family house. It's Eastern holidays, so if there is a mess around me, don't worry. This is a normal Eastern activity. I don't hear anything. What's wrong with my stuff?
Are
it's
you
okay.
sharing your screen?
Yeah, I will soon.
Okay.
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 Before starting, is Sharik with us too?
It's coming in 5-10 minutes.
Okay, nice. So welcome everybody. I see a lot of new faces, so it's very nice to have you today for this monthly meeting. It will be a 40-slide meeting like every month, and we will have 2 demos today, one from Christian and one from Sharik. So there is new faces, so maybe this slide will be useful today. UI Suite is a collection of modules to implement full design system. So not only the component library, but also the styles, utilities, and helpers. The layout system, often with a grid system, some team switched, CSS variable management, and also example pages. So the idea is to implement those design system in a YAML declaration in the Drupal team. And thanks to the UI Suite module, like UI pattern or UI styles, we are providing configurable plugins to Drupal. That means you can use your component into layout builders or views. You can use your styles into block or CK editor. So I hope it will be clear for everybody. And if someone is new and need more explanation, he can stay after the meeting to have a quick talk. So we start with the UI Suite shared subject. The big subject now is the addition of new module. It's very soon, so we are just talking about that. But on the right part, you see it's a survey made by the material design team, and they ask 100 of design system owners to know what they have, what they manage in the design system. And the first one is icon library. That means 84% of the design systems have an icon library, which is different from the component library or the style guides. So maybe UI icon can be the next UI Suite module. And also UI forms. Today, managing component with the render API, it's easy because we have a render element and it fits very well. But using those components into the form API is a mess. First, because sometimes there is some positional value on the form state, and also because a lot of things are fragile and are breaking easily. So a new module can help us to integrate component and styles with forms. Do you have some question about those new modules? And if you have some ideas of new modules, it's open to talk.
Just wanted to add that about the UI icons, an issue is opened to start a discussion and thinking about it on the UI Suite project issue queue.
Nice. So yeah, it's a good place to talk about that.
Yeah, I did some kind of a quick state of art review, and because there are plenty of modules existing managing icons. Some are specific to one icon library, others try to be APIs, but not every places in Drupal are covered with these APIs. So maybe having some kind of one module to be really to cover more use cases and more features, and to be really API centric will be nice to have.
Indeed, indeed. So I hope we will be a lot of us contributing to this issue. So about UI pattern. UI pattern is a core module of UI Suite. Is the most used with more than 4,000 installation on the Drupal.org. And we have a lot of issue on the issue queue, but most of them are features or tasks. So that means there is some excitement about the UI pattern feature. And I'm proposing to group those issue into 3 epics. One is ecosystem consolidation, second one is library improvement, and finally templated features. So ecosystem consolidation is something we talk a lot in the last months in those meetings, but we decided 2 months ago that most of them will happen in the branch 2.x, except the merge of UI pattern view style into UI pattern views. This work was done, but we just need to finalize the development and to write the hook update and the unit test. Second epic is library improvement. There is many issues, 5 of them into the UI pattern issue queue and 2 at the UI Suite level. I think you know most of them because we talked about them every month. But there is some new one too. So feel free to have a look. The UI pattern library is already very useful, but there is many things we can do to improve it. If someone who did one of the issue want to add something, it's open.
Yeah. As I told you a few hours earlier,
Yeah.
I think that pattern previews might be moved to 2.x version. Because it's potentially a backward compatibility breaker.
Okay, but anyway, we can start to think about this right now without waiting 2.x. But when we will merge it and implement it, it will be on the 2.x branch.
Yep.
And the third epic is templating features. So it's also some subject we talked before, but now it's becoming more and more clear. There is 2 proposals. The first one is to implement e-sequence test and maybe is-mapping test too. Those tests are very common in template. Twig engine is the only engine not implementing them. And if we have those tests, we can make the loop safer. Because now it's common to loop on slot. For example, we have many rows in a grid. We have many slides in a slider. But when we are looping, sometimes we don't know if it's a sequence or not. We only can test if it's iterable, but iterable is returning true also for render arrays. So it's not useful for us. So the merge request was done, but not unit test yet for this. And the second addition is the add class and set attribute filters. You may know them because they are planned for Drupal 10.1. So why are we implementing them on UI pattern 2? For 2 reasons. First, because it will be compatible with Drupal 9 too, and we need to support Drupal 9 for at least 6 months. And second, because Drupal 10.1 proposal is breaking if the slot is not an array, and it's working weirdly if the array is a list. So maybe it can be useful in some specific cases, but it will not be useful for slots. So that's why we are proposing to integrate them in a UI pattern and staying fully compatible with the Drupal core, of course. So those subjects are a bit niche and specific, but I hope it will be useful for many of us. Last month, we start to talk about UI pattern 2 also. This slide is the same. So don't hesitate to propose crazy stuff. We can build the future today. And talking about the next UI pattern major release, there is also a big change this month. SDC, single directory component, moved a lot, evolved a lot. And since last monthly meeting, there was big changes. Now SDC seems compatible with UI pattern, not UI pattern, the code base. We don't want SDC to be a clone of UI pattern, but it's compatible with UI pattern philosophy and strategy. So if SDC is merged into Drupal core, that means we can build the next version of UI pattern on the top of SDC. And this will be wonderful news for us and for SDC too, of course, because they will win thousands of users very quickly. Have you followed this SDC in core issue? And do you have some question? I got a notification, but I'm not able to see them.
No problem. Yes, it's Boyan speaking here. Yeah, I'm new, so maybe I might say I enter something that you have been discussing before. So excuse me for this. But yeah, I mean, I'm following actually both initiatives for a while. Definitely, you know, UI pattern was something that was having the hype for some time ago. Then it was some of a silence, but now I can also see quite some exciting initiatives around it. Definitely what CDC are doing very well. I mean, and it's a big win for them, you know, being accepted in the core as a experimental module. This is something like very, very important. And yeah, I was going to say that we definitely need to be closer to them and actually to find a way how to work with CDC, because this could be the future of how components are integrated in Drupal in the future. Still, does not mean that experimental model will become a core model, but definitely put the focus, and they're gonna attract a lot of people, you know, contributing for the project around the world. Yeah, but so I just want to say, yeah, it makes sense that we follow what is happening there, and actually to be aligned, because I think the both communities, the both projects, you know, need to join forces at some particular point. And it's could be that maybe some of the patterns and some of the modules that you are doing, could become part from CDC at some point, you know, and part from Drupal core. It could be another direction of moving forward. So no question, really, just a comment. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And joining force will be very useful. And maybe we can think about something like that. UiPattern.x will be SDC plus variants plus previews and libraries plus
plugins.
Yes,
Seed building.
seed building with configurable plugins. So that would be nice, because SDC will be our base, and we will add the functional feature we all love about UI pattern. What do you think about that, William?
Absolutely makes sense. Still, I'm not sure just to be super transparent, what are the overlapping features between UI pattern and CDC? To be honest, this is something that we need to study carefully and actually to contribute to the CDC in the terms of missing parts, but not trying to do, let's say, I would say, opinionated way of how we believe that the things should be done. Otherwise, at some point, if CDC has a high adoption, which I think it will happen because the Drupal community is really lacking such of a module, and something close to the core, it will make it more attractive, right? So we need to not, how to say, overlapping with what they do, but actually to have a complementary part for it, like make it more flexible. And I mean, I don't say that going into the core, it's the final, destination for this module, because let's say a module like paragraphs, it will never be in core, but it's top 3 of used modules, Drupal 8 plus, which is like quite of a big thing as well, because it's very flexible and it has a big ecosystem, which will never be possible if paragraphs was part from the core, maybe at some point, right? Okay, but just say absolutely makes sense, just to make sure that we are not overlapping with too many of the features which CDC is,
we don't want.
Yeah.
SDC will manage slots, props, the render element, the template discovery, and the library discovery and overriding. And we don't want to overlap with us SDC features. We want to extend with features who are mandatory for us, like variant or seal building.
Perfect.
Library, when I say library, it's library pages, of course. It's not like, and here it's asset library.
I'm not sure, do you see, but Edward has a question. Yeah, please.
Thank you. It wasn't a question, but a reaction, because SDC is going to core as an experimental module. So we might want to still maintain our own way to do what they do in case they don't make it to the end.
With like a proxy layer to avoid hard coding stuff we are not making at the end.
I don't know how, but I think we should at least maintain our own YAML discovery thing, our own way of building patterns. First, because of backward compatibility, sort of, because we could easily move people from UI pattern 1.x to 2.x if they don't have to rewrite everything as SDC. But also because we don't know how SDC will evolve in the future, and if it's getting traction as we hope, we could be able to drop our own YAML patterns in the future. But if they don't, we might need to keep them for now.
Yeah, indeed. We need to not break the implementation we already have. That's why it was important to keep the same template structure and to keep the current discovery. All the YAML were built today by the community in many in the 4,000 projects using UI pattern need to stay to work with UI pattern.x, in my own opinion.
Yeah, and I just raised the hand, just a final comment, and then we can maybe go further, so we don't we have more time for demonstrations. No, I would agree with Edward. Something going into an experimental module doesn't mean that it's the holy grail. It could go away, but this is a way how they can attract more attractions, and the idea with the experimental modules is not always these modules to go into the core, but actually to gain attractions, and they can continue their path as a contributed module. But definitely we shouldn't be, this ecosystem shouldn't be dependent on one module, or another initiative, because this initiative could go south at some point, and we should be able to continue our own path as well. So yeah, but maintaining both, makes sense. It's just like more time consuming, right? And think about whether we should put more effort. That's more like about strategy. But definitely we shouldn't become strongly dependent on CDC at some point if we see that it doesn't go in the right direction.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. To be safe. And anyway, we need to move carefully. So the ecosystem of UI pattern, which is huge. So there was 3 releases since last meeting. The 3 from Christian. So Christian, it was your month this month. Thank you very much. With 2 stable release of one of Wingsuite and one on UI pattern settings, and 1 dev release, which is very important because it's a compatibility with Drupal 10 for UI pattern block. So Christian, it's your time. Do you want to show us what is Wingsuite? I know there is a lot of interest for this module.
Oh, hi, everybody. So I want to show Wingsuite 2. Not sure if everyone knows what Wingsuite 1 is, so I will explain it first. And then we'll show what's new in feature 2, in version 2. So I will share my screen, hopefully it's fine. So can you see everything?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Wingsuite is actually a storybook ecosystem to render Twig templates with UI patterns, YAMLs in the background. So on the left side, you see actually every component you see is a UI patterns component. Can you see my storybook, my PHP storm on the right?
Yes.
So the idea behind Wingsuite is that you can use your UI pattern component without any additional configuration to use them in Storybook and build components directly in Storybook, and use Webpack for the other stuff like SCSS or CSS compiling. And for example, the alert component here, not sure if you can see this, is a typical UI pattern component with some additional things that is different than a normal UI pattern component, especially in the render tree. I will show it later. So it's a UI patterns component, and there's a module Wingsuite companion which bring the changes back to the Drupal. So it's so in the end, it's a valid UI pattern component. A component depends. It contains 3 parts. So the component, the YAML, the Wingsuite YAML, where you can define your fields and your settings and so on. And as you can see here, every setting is also our. Oh, wait to go to the alert component. So every component is every field is here a field, and every setting would be a setting here. I take the button. Maybe the button is better to explain. So you can see the fields are here, and the settings are all settings are here, and if you change here something, it instantly changes here. So for example, if you change the label, or if you add, for example, a new setting, for example, you see the new setting right here, and inside the pattern you can change it, and you see also instantly clear it out. So so this is the idea behind Wingsuit, and since version 2 and version 1 and version 2, we changed a lot in the actually not in the Wingsuit configuration or something. It's more in the back end. Especially, it's now Storybook 7, not Storybook 6 anymore. And with this, the Storybook has also changed a lot. For example, it supports now Webpack 5, not Webpack 4. And I write a small history. It's Storybook 7 and it's Webpack 5. So the performance is much better when in Storybook 7 the performance is much better than in Storybook 6, especially the loading behavior has changed. So Storybook 7 6 has no lazy compilation. So every story is loaded is always loaded. And with Storybook 7 you can change this behavior so that only the component you're currently viewing are changed. So the compiling is much faster. So the hot module replacement is much faster, and also the startup time is much faster. But that's most storybook issues. And yeah, so for that we also changed the logic. So in Wingsuit 1, we use not really loaders to load the Wingsuit YAML files. So in Wingsuit 2, we wrote 2 loaders, one to load the story itself on the left side with an own loader, and there's a loader for this component. So there's a Webpack loader which loads the UI patterns components, makes our JavaScript object for that, and this object you can see here on the left side. So I'm not sure what's happening now, but so you know, so that's one of the features. Jetzt habe ich irgendwie das. Sorry. So, genau. So we did the loader, and now Wingsuit is really a storybook add-on. So it's very easy to boot a simple storybook and integrate Wingsuit in this because it's simple a loader add-on. So in the main.js you can add it as a storybook add-on.
Okay, nice. Do you use Twig.js?
Yes, right now we have support for Twig and Twig.js presets.
Okay,
So
and with the filters and the function from Drupal?
You can integrate it as you want. So so for Twig.js, we provide some filters for Twig.js. So everything is now a preset. So we moved so actually Wingsuit has a lot of Webpack configurations. And we manage these Webpack configurations in presets. So everything is now a preset. So when I show it these are the presets, and for example, Twig and Twig.js are presets, and you can load these presets in the Wingsuit configuration file. Sorry, presets, Tailwind, Wingsuit config. Here are the presets you load. Preset for Tailwind, preset for Twig, preset for placeholders. Placeholders are components to render image styles from other image placeholders. Then we have a preset for icons and a preset for sprite maps and a preset for printing smaller images so that you can do image scaling and stuff like that. And every preset is actually a small JavaScript class where you provide your Webpack configuration for the thing. So for example, if you want to, here we include the Twig loader instead of the Twink loader. And here in Twink, we'll use the Twink loader. So this is how is it managed. So presets are Webpack configurations for a special case. Yeah, and some additional things more. And when you want to load a special add-ons like other Twig functions or Twig filters, you have to integrate them in your own in the preview. So there's in every storybook there's a file called preview.js, and here you have to load your Twig Twig filters, etc. It's the same like before. So Emulsifier or something is doing the same thing.
It's a bit like the dash preview template suggestion on
not sure.
Okay. So in for which kind of project and for which situation do you recommend using Wingsuite and Storybook instead of the UI pattern library?
We use UI pattern. So we're not sure because we are using for every project. So our workflow is like we build every project in Storybook, and then this is our design system, and then we use UI patterns to map the Wingsuite patterns to Drupal without any code in between. So that's, and I would use it for every project. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's yeah. But that's probably our, yeah, not sure. Yeah.
So thank you very much, and congratulations for the release of the 2.0 version.
It's not a release right now. It's maybe the first beta. Yeah, so we're still working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I was thinking I show the 2.0 popping on my log. So.
No, it's Wingsuite Companions to 0, but it's not for Wingsuite 2. So
okay, we see companion. Yeah, sorry, I mixed up. Sorry.
So, do you have any questions? Someone?
Okay, it seems it was very clear. And I guess, Christian, you are available on Slack if someone has a question later, no?
Yes, Bojan. Yeah, maybe just one question very quickly. I mean, and actually, it is a general thing also for the initiative. Do you have any kind of case studies, like projects that you can show us of using this type of an approach? I mean, usually, I think for the initiative could be very interesting if you have on DrupalWorks some case studies which are tagged with UI pattern or something, so we can also kind of showcase actually what we have done with this. Which brands are using this type of initiative. So yeah, it could be very interesting. So if you can afterwards in Slack just post a few case studies could be interesting.
Okay.
Thank you, Christian. Very interesting job. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's continue the slide. I will share my screen again. Okay. You see it?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So about UI pattern settings, there is a new issue I have created, and I'm working very hard on it. Is to add a new setting type, so a new prop with this menu structure. Menu structure, it's items, below, title, URI, and everything. And it's not finished yet, so we will talk again next month, I guess. But it's already kind of working, and it's very nice because we are able to integrate menu into our style building with patterns. So those two screens are not mock-up, they are real life examples. So nothing new for security coverage. And for Drupal 10 compatibility, now we have a pattern block with compatible. So I'm late for your pattern flag, but I know it's not very used. And I don't know if Nejo is still working on this module. If someone knows Nejo, maybe it would be nice to poke him and to ask him what's up. And maybe we'll need some help from the community. UI styles. So one more demo by Sharik. So I will stop the sharing.
Okay, I will share my screen. Let me know when you are able to see my screen.
We do.
Okay. Yeah, so I implemented a module like UI styles paragraph integration. So this module does it expose all the UI styles as a paragraph behavior. So as you can see here, I have a very simple like restricts paragraph. And when you enable the UI style option, you will see all the UI styles here. So you can select, you have to just go and enable what you wanted to enable. Like I have enabled here the background color, background text, and in the layout also I enable a few things. Okay, so when it is enabled, so when you go, okay, when you add the restricts paragraph, you see in the behavior, you see all the enabled options. If you want to use some text colors, okay, and also you have to have margin. So you can see the background color, text color that is applied, and also you can see the margin embedding as well.
Okay, nice. Can you show us with the back office? Because most of us we are using a paragraph on back office 10.
Yeah. So when you go to edit paragraph, you see all the behavior options here, and here you see the UI option. So see, I just need to enable that. And here you see all the styles in the groups, lifestyle groups, like color.
Okay, so the style builder is deciding which style will be available for the contributor on the paragraph.
Yes, for the paragraph type. So maybe there might be some you wanted to have some very specific styles for certain.
So it works a bit like Seca editor.
Yes, very similar to Seca editor.
That's nice.
That is the same behavior for like selection. One thing you can do also, like if you can replace UI style options, if you want to like adding in layout paragraph, we also have like just layout selection. But if you wanted to enable like for padding margin, let me show you. So we have of expose. So this is like the layout paragraph container. So here we have exposed the layout options like all the background color, margin settings. So instead of exposing this as a layout option, we can also expose this as a UI style option. So you can have everything in one place.
Okay. Yeah, because both are using behaviors.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any question?
Yeah, sorry to ask again, but now you are using a specific interface to manage your paragraph. Can you show us on the edit page?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, because people are using paragraph like that most of the time. Huh?
Yeah, so in layout paragraph too, they have providing option to like use layout builder with the layout paragraph. So here you will also see like the layout builder kind of interface. So here you see the like options little bit more organized because of the theme, element theme.
Okay, so yeah, from back office in edit page, you have your paragraph behavior like that, and you can change the styles.
Yes.
Yes, Florent?
Thank you, Sharik, for the demo. This is more, I think, a recommendation or maybe a suggestion of feature requests. I think it is very nice that you grouped the styles depending on their categories. But I think among the behaviors, I think it should be inside a UI styles field group, field set. I mean, or details. Sorry, I mean. It will be an additional level, but to ensure that those details, not in the configuration here, it is okay. But I mean, when you edit, to ensure that the UI styles behaviors are really isolated from the others behaviors. But it is just a recommendation, a suggestion. Yeah.
Yes,
And very nice, very nice work.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I will look into that. Because when people will more different options, it will be messed up.
So great. Someone has a question? Yeah, as Boyan said, paragraph is a very popular module, one of the 3 most popular modules. So integrating styles with paragraph, I think it will be successful. Now it's mostly UI styles who is not well known, but when the popularity will grow, this module will be a star. And also, I'm very happy we are welcoming the first country module of the UI style ecosystem. So, Sharik, thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, good job.
Welcome.
Pierre, you are muted.
Okay, I was muting, so I was saying a lot of stuff. So let's go. It's okay. And I was saying thank you, Sharik. And so let's move on. So since last meeting, we did an update of layout option. So layout option is our module to manage configurable layouts and grid systems. And we release the 1.2 version. The next step is to, someone want to ask?
No, 3, yeah. I misclicked again.
Okay. So the next step is still to remove objects from templates, but because it's something with common in core, it's postponed. About USkin. So USkin, for the people coming for the first time, is our module to manage everything will be stored in the temp settings. So today we have already implemented CSS variables, but we are planning to implement also a theme switch, like to switch the branding or to switch the accessibility mode or to switch to dark mode, this kind of stuff. And we will also implement some page layout features. So CSS variable is done and you can use it already. So I hope it's already useful for a lot of you. I use it on my projects and I'm very happy with it. And the next step is to create a definition class for theme and mode, which is very complicated because we study nearly 30 design systems and there is a lot of differences between them. So we will take the time to find the perfect definition class. About your example, it was also a small month because there was no release, and we are still thinking about a way of making the declaration simpler. For the public implementation, more stuff happened. First, there was 2 releases of Bootstrap 5, Alpha 5 and Alpha 6, with a lot of work. So congratulations to Florent, and not only Florent, because there was many contributors this month. So Florent, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, 2 releases because the second one was more to fix a bug introduced in the Alpha 5 because I kept some compiled JS with a debug mode through. And yeah, it was currently focused mainly on form management and form theming. About forms, there is only mainly field set and details to handle, especially with checkboxes. And after that, it will be minor form elements remaining, but not a priority. The main stuff are done. We are also able to add some optional client-side validation module support. Automatic as soon as the client-side validation module is enabled in jQuery. And after, except that, also lots of documentation inside the markdown file in docs folder in the UI Suite Bootstrap to show some advanced features of forms, how to do it. And because I had to introduce new special keys like for input groups, floating labels, or some new wrapper attributes or stuff like that. And so yeah, when testing regarding Bootstrap documentation, I documented that in the markdown file along the way. And
thank you.
That's it for me.
And also the Bootstrap theme, the historic Bootstrap theme we still stuck in Bootstrap 3, but with very popular, is mentioning us on his project page. So it's great.
Yeah. I asked Shilane, one of the maintainer of the Bootstrap historic Bootstrap theme, if it was possible, and she gracefully agreed. And thanks to her.
Yeah, that's nice. Material Design 2 got a release too, with some fixes and some features. So it's still progressing, and it's still it's interesting because we are testing also a lot of stuff with Material Design 2, a lot of stuff which may come to the module later. And the second beta was released for DSFR, which is the French government design system. And this one is important because it's already in use in production for 14 or 15 months. So It's beta, but it's only beta because we introduced some compatibility breaks. Feature-wise, it's already a complete production-ready module. 10, sorry. On the community side, nothing new about disabling GitHub issue on GitHub. We are proposing conferences talk to Drupal Dev Days Vienna and DrupalCon Europe. So, Florent, you are proposing UI Suite from the trenches, which is like some feedbacks from a developer point of view of implementing a design system with Drupal. And me and Michael, we are proposing a live seal building demo to show the integration of the UI Suite implementation with Drupal backoffice and config entities. And also, Michael, you want to present alone a specific use case, the DSFR design system on Paris Web.
That's it.
So I hope we will be accepted to this conference, and I hope we will meet you at this conference and have a drink together. And I'm looking forward to be present and hopefully to be a speaker. This one didn't move last month, but we still want to propose it as a community initiative. And congratulations, we reached 100 people on the Slack channel. So it's a milestone. And there is a lot of people today. We are maybe 15 or 16, so maybe it's related to the growth of the Slack channel. So thank you. Do you have some question, some subject to share?
Oh.
Yes, so thank you, Per. Thank you, Christian and Sharik, for the demos. It was more a question for Christian, because I recently, when I said recently, maybe it was since last week or 2 weeks ago, been using Gene Layout Builder on projects, or at least experimenting with it. And I wanted to ask you if it was possible to give a review to some features or patches I made. Not now, but yes, if it was if it at least to know if it was planned. And what else? Also, yes, I've been experimenting on a personal project using UI Suite, and I encounter some missed. Pierre, can you? I mute you, Pierre. So I've been seeing some limitations with UI styles. So I have to, for example, override some templates, etc. This is especially needed for styles with flex and or patterns requiring very specific structure, especially when patterns or styles require some direct children inside the markup. Drupal wrappers are still problematic, so we have to think about that. And regarding UI styles, I will have to create the issues, but to improve the UX. Because when you configure the styles on block layout builders, etc., during a whole day, your eyes are kind of
bleeding.
Bleeding, yes, exactly. When your design system proposes a lot of styles, and for example, when you configure on a block, there is the block styles, the block title styles, with block content styles, and to have some easy indicator when there are styles used in sections. Otherwise, it is hard to see exactly where styles are used. So I will propose some UX improvements in UI styles, and maybe regarding Sharik demonstration, maybe providing some kind of APIs to provide easily UI styles form where we need it.
Like the tray on UI pattern, we have a tray for that.
Yeah, exactly. But with the tray for UI styles, because to avoid duplicating code, and to provide when, for example, adding this kind of UX improvements. So everywhere styles are used, it is automatically improved. I hope so. I hope so to be able to.
Yeah.
I don't know when I will have time, but first I will try to take the time to create the issues.
Thank you very much. I think it will be very useful, and don't hesitate to share with Sharik to be sure it's fit with a paragraph behavior.
Nice.
Okay, it's noon, so we are finishing on time. If someone wants to add something, we can continue, but okay, that's great.
Everyone.
Thank you very much. See you in 1 month. Oh,
So,
what about
yes,
the
yes, yes.
Yeah, the calendar.
Next month will be on the it's like Tuesday again, on the 16th of May.
Nice.
I will
Okay.
send the invitation.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Nice
bye.
day, everyone.
Ciao, bye.
Thank you all.